You guys need to calm down. You're going to get hurt. I understand. I got to do it all the time. I know. Or if she's talking about sects of religion, she always gets all worked up before we even say anything. A moist butthole. I don't know who couldn't. How can you resist? This time I've got an alarm set. I need to leave at 10 o'clock. Brandon, I think you're holding out on us. You don't have to be attracted to dudes for some butt sex, man. Although I will say dude butt sex is the best. There's something different about a male butthole. It makes a different noise. Different type of suction as well. These kittens are freaking crazy. More crazy than the last ones. I'm knocking water all over the damn place. They don't even have any water now. That is true. About to load up another pipe. Not the crack kind this time. I still haven't been following lately with Iran stuff because I don't think anything's really happened too new, other than they've used better missiles. Hello. The butt pipe. Hello, Gadwin.
No.
What's happening?
This is a video from my child. Actually talking about using tactical nukes on Iran now.
You are breaking up badly for some reason.
Is it better yet?
I think it's still sort of doing it. I've never heard that from you.
Huh. Let's see.
I don't know what's up. Yep, Netanyahu's been trying since what? Fucking the 90s probably to get us to go to war with Iran because they're right. They're like 2 months away from nuclear weapons. He's been saying that for like fucking decades now.
Is it any better now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just closed out Steam and Discord. We got a new internet box, so maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. It seems fine now though.
I know the internet's just been shitty of lately, just getting videos to load and stuff like that.
It's probably everywhere. I don't know though.
Well, Trump and them defunding everything, it wouldn't, shock me.
Yep. Probably affect damn near everything.
But yeah, sorry. I posted in Discord in the news thing. Kyle Kalinske posted a video about U.S. is planning on maybe using tactical nukes on Iran.
I saw that. I didn't click on it, mainly because it said that it's not out of the question. So it's sort of like all he's saying is it's not off the table, which is a Trump thing anyway. Trump likes to keep everything. He'll never say something's off the table because he believes it gives him more leverage. So
Mm-hmm.
it don't necessarily mean something because he would probably do that anyway. And from my point of view, he might be only holding out because he wants to try to cut deals. That's all he cares about.
Well, and he
So
thinks he's such a great deal maker when he's not.
he's
That's
a
this
fucking moron.
narcissist.
I know, and the problem with that is him being a narcissist. It's not just that he's not good at deals and all that, but him being a narcissist allows more dangerous people to take advantage of him because he's so stupid. All they have to do is cater to his ego, and they can get whatever the fuck they want. Putin is a prime example.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the danger of it, in my view.
Yeah, you just gotta flatter him, and he'll pretty much do what you want.
Yep. Sad.
It's definitely like a Nero or a Caligula moment. It's embarrassing.
If I would not doubt at all if he had that level of power, he would be pulling that sort of shit. Only reason he hasn't is because he knows he couldn't get away with it yet.
Yeah, which I don't think the military still has a strong enough hold on everything.
Mm. That's what I'm hoping.
Because I just seen they cut Hegseth out of the meetings for Iran and stuff like that. Like they're just cutting Trump's cabinet out.
Really? How? How can they do that?
Well, the military is subservient to the Constitution before the president, so.
So they're using that as justification?
I mean, that's what I would see. I mean,
I don't see any other way they could get away with it because he's technically their boss.
yeah, that's what I was wondering too. But him being a liability.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I see it as a good thing. I just don't see how. I don't understand the details.
Yeah, there's a bunch going on. Like, I mean, this whole flood the zone with bullshit everywhere. There's things at every level going on. States
Mm-hmm.
not getting any funding for anything, to all kinds of court cases, judges having to shoot his stuff down because it's not constitutional or it's just.
Most of them. He did win the National Guard California case. They're allowing him to have control of the National Guard even without governor approval, which I was pretty sure they would allow it anyway.
Which I'm glad everybody started to see that it was nothing more than a publicity stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was almost nothing.
And it's a waste of taxpayer money, just like the fucking parade that no democracy ever does.
Which I think the parade was actually a good thing because it just shows how embarrassing the Trump presidency is.
It's a good thing because it failed. So the downside is the amount of fucking money it took when he's all about fucking cutting waste. Like, but I agree because it failed. But if it hadn't, it would be very, very negative. And it's still negative in the message it sends that like the type of president he is and like how he wants to mimic fucking dictators.
Which the military sees that, so that's why I'm guessing they did what they did. They kind of they didn't give them all the bells and whistles. Like, did you see the Chinese air show that just went on?
No.
They're flying like their new fighter jets at like five in a group in like triangle formations. They had helicopters going in like checkerboard patterns and shit like that. Like all kinds of just shit just going all
And they
crazy.
they just did it recently.
Yeah.
That is awesome. It just shit all over Trump. I love it.
It was their victory day over Japan, so VJ Day.
That is perfect timing. I love it. I'm sure a lot of people are like, "Yeah, you're fucking cheering for China." I don't care. I fucking hate Trump. I fucking hate him to the point
Uh,
where you shit on my country. I don't care.
well, I'm not a nationalist. To me, I never chose to be born here. I mean, to me, it's imaginary lines. I mean, if
Hmm.
humans were to be gone tomorrow, our nations would there would be no things.
Well, yeah,
Boundaries.
nations are arbitrary, fake constructs anyway, and I've never really seen it as a very good argument when people look to like pull nationalism and like we were born here. Yeah, we were born here, but our fucking our descendants fucking stole the land. So the very thing that you're concerned about is what we did. So shut the fuck up. Like you don't have an argument. Like
In which almost all humans are from another area. Like all
mhm,
humans have migrated from like Africa, basically, or
mhm.
the land bridge, South America, everything. So I mean, there
It's
is
a
no real native except for Africa.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at it in the context of like racial justification, yes. Um, I agree. But sometimes they'll make it not that and it's just about being born here. But even then that falls apart because they'll go, it's just about being born here, but then you get like Hispanic people who are literally born here and they're like, nope. And then it becomes racism again. It's hilarious. Like they can't get their fucking shit together to even make a coherent point.
It's the lack of education too. I mean, racism's learned.
Yeah, well, I think it's both.
It can
I
be
think
unlearned.
it's mostly learned, and yes, it can be unlearned. But I also think, and a lot of people disagree with me on this, and that's fine. I believe that there is a nature aspect to racism, much
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, survival instinct.
yes, I think that it's an outdated evolutionary drive that used to be useful back in the day, and now people that are stupid, for lack of a better word, people that use intuition instead of critical thinking, they drive everything on their intuition, like that little those feelings they get.
Hmm.
Everything is true if they get a feeling, and I think that's a lot of it. But yes, another part of it is especially generational racism, like their father believed.
The mores that are
Yeah,
handed down from one generation to the next.
yep. I think
I'm
that's
racist because my granddaddy was racist. Like, what's the reasoning for that? Like,
well, yeah. Well, they don't even. I don't think they use it as justification necessarily. They think it's true
well,
because, like, as a child, you trust your parents. You don't know any better.
well, see, I guess that's where I differ. Is where I was always not really.
It's the same with me, but we're the oddballs in this case. Most people, at least in my experience, I could be wrong, but I think most people just kind of mold their world around their parents early on. And not to say they get a pass because of it, because I don't give a shit what your reasoning is. If you're racist, you're a piece of shit to me. But yeah, me, probably what you were about to say, I didn't have much attachment to my parents. I've never had an attachment much to anyone. It's not even a negative thing to me. That's just how I am. I've always been the type that I do my own thing. I like to be left alone. Even as a child, I was quiet,
Hmm.
watched TV and shit, read books while the other kids were out playing. And I like to be on my own and left alone.
I kind of fell into a different thing. Like, I wanted to be part of groups, but a lot of times I could outperform a lot of the other kids in many things, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore I got hated because I could outperform them and do better.
I could see that. And that goes into the IQ thing. And this isn't when I say this, automatically people go, "Oh yeah, you're like trying to make it this great thing because you're arrogant It has nothing to do with how I feel about myself or anything.
Well, I was
But
very athletic too, just naturally. I have good
well, that's
genetics.
that's what I was about to go into. The research shows under G theory, all of this old Garner's multiple intelligence shit, it's bullshit. I'm adding Rash, by the way. Hello, Rash.
The cement mixer.
But yeah, it's bullshit. So almost all psychologists today consider it nonsense, and
Hello?
that's because G theory has proven that people that are high in one area tend to be high in all areas, and that's kind of what you're describing. And then people get pissed off because they want to live in a world that everybody's equal, but that world
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exist. And I don't say that to be like
What,
oh, they're
see, that's
perfect and great. I'm not trying to do that. It's just that's the facts. That's what we've learned.
I think that's one of the hardest things too with me when I was growing up was by my grandmother's standards. Everybody had to be treated equal because we were all equal. So therefore, like all the grandkids got treated exactly the same. There was no
I I
favoritism.
I agree with that to an extent. Like so when I say people aren't created equally, I don't mean they shouldn't be treated equally within reason. I just mean that factually they're not. Like
Well, see, I guess my point of view is like me being autistic, so therefore they thought I was just being out of control and stuff, so they beat the shit out of me a lot. Like I got a lot of whoopings, which were if they had understanding about autism and how better to handle that, they would have not had to beat the shit out of a 5-year-old over and over.
so from their perspective, they were trying to make you normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I didn't fit into the mold of what their first son was like, so therefore I was broken or something.
Right. And they probably took it as like a fault on their part, like we're not doing our job as parents.
Well, and they thought I was corrected by just whooping a bare ass with a belt on a
Yeah.
5-year-old, 6, 7, 8.
Yep. That's retarded.
Yep. It doesn't do
Happens a
anything. It
lot
just
though.
traumatizes the kid.
Yep. Well, in general, and most from my experience, most people that are like a generation above me and beyond disagree. They think that spanking in general is positive. The research shows the opposite. And they're like, well, I'm
Mm-mm.
fine. And I'm like, you may be fine. That's arguable. But like the point is, we have shown through fucking case studies, through years and years of research, that it harms children more than helps them. It does not provide this discipline and shit that you think it does. It just fucks them up. It traumatizes them. It's not
Well,
good. It's
that's where the polar opposite comes from. It's like my grandmother had my uncle, which he was like the perfect son. If you could have a perfect son or somebody to look up to as a role model, he's literally like one of those people, valedictorian, very smart, like when it comes to mathematics and engineering and things like that. Like,
mm,
I mean, he doesn't come late for work. I mean, he'll pretty much cut his arm off and still try to go to work. Like, he's just one of those dedicated, disciplined people like no other.
right.
And then I'm expecting me to be the same way because they taught me, we're trying to teach me the exact same way they taught him, and it just didn't apply the same.
That don't work anyway because it sounds like they think almost the entire world is nature. I mean, nurture. They think that
Mhm.
everything is instilled from birth. When, in my view, and this this is debatable, but I believe that most of human beings is nature. I believe that a vast majority of your personality, of everything, is already determined before you're even born. They're genetic. And I could
Yeah.
be wrong, but that's my belief. At the very least, it plays a major role. And I think that they thought that everything is learned, which is dumb in my opinion, and it's the wrong fucking way. You can't
Well, that's
really
Christian.
change someone.
That's Christians for you. Which, and the thing is, too, is my mom was adopted.
Mm.
So, that, I mean, they're just, that's the older generation, too, where they can't really think outside the box. They just apply what they know, and they don't really try to think of new ways to go about it.
Some of it was their culture then, and like it's why some of them are so hardcore conservative. And part of it is because during the boomer period and how perfect everything was for them, they believe that it's all based on how they lived then, even some of the
Hmm.
backward shit. So they tie that period of greatness to the way the culture was, and that's just not true. It's mainly because of the fucking huge tax fucking increases they had on rich people that helped the rest of everybody else.
Well, and the media just didn't cover most things. You didn't know about like all these serial killers and stuff at the time. Like those periods were ravaged with like high crime rates and
That's true.
mobsters,
Yeah,
and you
that is
just didn't
true.
have it being written about because I mean there wasn't the journalism, there wasn't news stations like there is now. There wasn't any of that.
And it looks like Trump's trying to bring that back. He's trying to fucking get rid of real news and have only fake news.
I, um, I think this is all going to fall apart. I mean, it's too stupid to proceed for much longer.
I hope so, but I've said that before and I was wrong.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's hard to predict what outcome because it's always opposite of what rationally should be
Yep.
the
Which
outcome.
is which is why I'm not certain about anything anymore.
Which I really hope the claims of the voter fraud get pushed and something can be done where they just like the Secret Service is like, hey, you're thrown out, buddy. Let's go.
I hope they would do that. But there's a whole lot to go through. They need evidence for one, and I mean
Well,
like solid evidence.
lock down Elon's systems. I'm sure it's somewhere.
Maybe, but it's definitely worth pursuing. It's kind of
Which,
funny because I used to use that. I was like, well, the difference between Democrats and Republicans is we don't like freak out and act like we won when we lost.
well, see, this is
but
where
there
the
does
data
seem to
is.
be actual evidence behind it. It's just I don't know how much.
Do you see that Christopher Titus thing with? Yeah, I remember you saying about you watched some of that. Like he was going over the graphs, how like any other election, all the graphs how they flowed, and then all of a sudden this election, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing looked normal.
Yes, and there's a whole lot of like strange data formations that we can't
Hmm.
quite make sense of. And I think that at the very least is enough to like look further. I would not go so far as to say, uh, damn, I already forgot her name. Kamala Harris won. I won't say that right now, but I will say something weird's going on, and they need to look into it and find out what the hell explanation there is for all this weird erratic data.
Well, and then in swing states alone, there was like 4.5 million votes just purged. So basically, if you filled out your ballot and you didn't say fill in the circle all the way or sign your name exactly like you do in your driver's license, there's people there looking at them, which are a lot of right wing MAGA people who applied for those jobs to be ballot examiners and stuff. They just threw those out. And then you had to like appeal that within like so many hours to get your vote even counted.
So you
And most people
think
couldn't.
that they could look at it and tell who you voted for, and like the Trump ones, even if it wasn't colored in perfectly, they would keep.
Yeah,
But the other ones, they were like, "Oh, that's got a problem," and threw it.
yeah. They're going over everything like for every Democrat vote, they're going over it with like a fine tooth comb, throwing it away, rejecting it for any reason. But then if it's Trump, all good.
Hmm. How did they get that much influence in the fucking voter? Like the check, whoever does the checking. How did the fucking Trump get that much
Well, because
influence in there?
I don't know if you noticed that for years, Republicans were railing about people who at the grassroots getting involved in the election process, getting their right wing goons in at all these levels, from judges, I mean, to clerks, to the people who count the ballots, the people, I mean, holding the door, being security and stuff. So now
Mm-hmm.
they're pretty much in control of all these places.
Damn, that needs to be fucking dealt with because that could be a problem forever if it remains that way.
Well, yeah, because it could very skew every election.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes down to like what these people working at these individual election places, wanna who they want to win.
Mm-hmm. That's some fucked up shit. They need to look heavily into it. I think they are. There's actually like they're going into like lawsuit shit territory already.
Which I mean, we just need to have a system. It's a blockchain system. Um, it's a ledger system. Basically, you can't go in and edit anything. Like once you do a ledger, your ledger gets broken up into millions of pieces and scattered across millions of computers. And if you want to pull that, you got to pull the whole ledger together again from all those computers. And if any of those are edited, it shows. And then just make it to where every single person that's as soon as you're 18, boom, you have an app that you just have your social security or whatever number, you go in, you get to vote, and you can cast a vote for anything, anytime that election comes up, governor or whatever.
It would make sense. And any changes or any sort of like issues where they're like, hey, we have to cast this one out, it needs to be public knowledge and there needs to be a record, a complete record showing every single one.
Well, and that's the thing with a blockchain, there would be a record of all edits, all changes, everything that happens to that ledger.
Yeah, that makes sense. It would work and it wouldn't even be that hard to do. It would be very
Now,
easy.
it'd be expensive because it's a lot of compute power. You have to have a data center to actually do all the computing and data storage and all that.
That makes sense. But hell, the amount of money they're putting into fucking data centers for AI, they can do that if they really wanted to.
And then you'd look at the cost savings of closing down every single polling place, every polling employee, all that stuff. So you have all those savings.
Well, to me, like, even if it's very expensive, when we're throwing like fucking billions of dollars into military shit that we can't even account for, I don't give a fuck. Like, if it's democracy on the line, fucking pay for it. I don't care. Like, fucking pull taxes, do whatever you got to do to make sure that there's election integrity. There's very little that I wouldn't be where I'd draw a line. Like,
Republicans don't want this because they lose every time. Majority of people vote, they lose.
Well, if there's like legit elections, I don't think that they have a chance of winning again anytime soon because of all that Trump's done.
But now if they have everything rigged from the, every level up through, I mean, it's going to be hard because Mitch McConnell, when Obama was still in office, Mitch McConnell blocked the appointment of judges. Wouldn't let Obama appoint any judges whatsoever. And then when Trump got in the first time, he appointed like 10,000 judges right off the bat. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. And this is why I kind of agree with people that are like shitting on Democrats. Because Democrats, to me, this isn't proof, but to me, it's like semi-evidence that they don't give a fuck. They don't fight like Republicans did. When Democrats had a massive fucking lead in Congress and like more Supreme Court justices, all that, fucking Republicans would say, fuck you, and they would fight to the fucking end. They would veto shit and fucking like lock down Congress. They fought no matter what. Democrats, the same thing happens and they go, there's nothing we can do, guys. And it makes you think that they're just fucking pawns, like they're getting paid off. They're pieces of shit that are fucking
Well, that
corrupt.
one guy did a filibuster there for a while. He did a 24-hour, 26-hour, something like that.
Yes, and I like that, but there's not enough. Like the Republicans, it's like all hands on deck. With Democrats, it's like one or two people.
That's the thing is they control Congress, the Senate, the executive branch. I mean, they got it all now.
When it comes to like passing legislation and stuff, there's little Democrats can do. But that's not what I mean. I mean, if you flip it exactly, Republicans still did everything, fought like fucking hell, they would drag people through the mud and get like cater to their base to make people pissed off and shit. We don't do that.
Difference in brains. So your left side, your Democrats are more tactical. They want to be sneaky. They don't want their plans exposed. Republicans, they're your emo cry baby Karens. As soon as that you say something they don't like, so that's your Republican. That's why they're always the ones crying. Like fucking Ted Cruz always bitching about every damn thing, but then he doesn't do anything. He just collects money and bribes.
Yep. I think that Republicans are worse, like obviously, but I do think Democrats are Republican-like, meaning that they're kind of in general, outside of like 3 or 4 of them, they still take the same bribes and shit. They hide it better. And that to me, it shows in the way they handle shit, how they vote on Israel and stuff like that. Like it's because they're getting paid.
Yep, Democrat Party is just a Republican Party of the '90s. Like they're just they have that decor actually, where they actually hold themselves up to some kind of a standard, unlike the Republican Party now, and it's all corporate money flowing into them. That's why all that NASDAQ shit and everything went through back in the '90s. The Republicans controlled the Senate and the Congress back then, so I mean they are the ones that passed through all that shit.
Yeah, But now that, like you said, it's like the Democrats or the Republicans of the '90s. They're doing the same shit now, and it's pushing us far to the right and making it people that don't follow politics very much. They see it as, oh, this is the left. They don't realize that our left is right on the world stage. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking shit up. And then I have to explain to people that it's not what it looks like, and you have to go into a fucking novel to get them to understand.
I at this point, I've pretty much given up. I laugh, like I'll let people tell me their stupid ideas, laugh at them, and then you
Mm.
tell them that maybe delete their Facebook or throw it in their brain or something like that, and they just walk away smiling.
Yeah, well, I want to do that, but at the same time, I feel like I've got to do something. I
I've
mean,
tried. You can't convince people of anything. They got to kind of find their own way out of it.
right? That's true. Very rarely does it ever make any real dent. What I
Hmm.
have learned is I try to gauge people very quickly, like within like very close proximity to when I meet them or engage in a conversation. I decide very quickly whether or not they're malleable or not. If they're like dead set hardcore, then I don't even engage. I might just make fun of them at that point. But if there's a chance that I think that they might be willing to listen to reason, then I'll engage with them. But it's exceedingly rare.
The ones that play identity politics, the ones that got to wear the T-shirts and the hats and identify who they vote for.
Yeah,
We know who they are. I don't even waste my breath with them. I just
that's
nod, give
true.
them good mornings and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah,
don't need your bullshit. I know
those
you're a
are
fucking
those are
cultist.
tribal people that are incapable of seeing outside of their echo chamber.
Hmm. And they tend to be very emotional.
Yep, yep, and it's always been ironic to me because they push this snowflake thing when they are the snowflakes. Like objectively, when compared to the left, they cry
What?
far more.
Oh, well, it's that
Pro-
deflecting on people.
It's
They
projection.
project, yeah, they project
Yeah.
their insecurities on everybody else.
Yep. It's like one of their tried and true tactics. And it's so funny because they like do the tu quoque, the know you on everyone. Like, for instance, Walter and Ian, who is no longer in comments, but when they were, I would always like using the facts of what they say and what they do, I would be like, dude, you're projecting because A, B, and C. And then they'd be like, dude, you're projecting. And I'm like, dude, you're literally projecting projection on me. Like, what the fuck? Like,
They're just agitators. That's all they are.
wow.
The only
Like,
the only thing they're good for is being in a washing machine. Wash my agitate my clothes.
it's sad. Well, for a while, I thought that they were, I mean, to give them a little bit of credit, each of them had one point that they actually made that was valid, that they made me realize that I was wrong. I was like, oh shit, well, the you're actually good for something. But it was like one out of like fucking 50 conversations. So it's like after a while, I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna sift through hours of nonsense just to like get one piece of shit that's useful.
Diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
What?
So it's
There's a quote I like. It's an old Chinese quote. It's never correct a fool. A fool will get angry with you. Correct a wise man, and he'll thank you.
mhm, it is true. How's your connection, Rash?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Loud
you
and clear.
seem
10-4,
clear.
good buddy.
Okay, I'm just listening in. I didn't have any comments on what you guys were saying. I more or less agree.
Okay, I was just checking in, making sure that you're able to talk because sometimes you try to and you can't.
Alpha Bravo
Uh,
Delta.
Like that stupid ass Patrick. Yeah, I don't know
Oh,
if he's
Patrick.
Jewish or not, but yeah, he's the dude that like freaks out about his word per minute. And I'm like, dude, like if that's the thing that you're gonna obsess over, you know how sad that is?
Well, Andy used to come in pretty hot too.
Mm. What, talking about like words per minute?
No, just getting angry easy. He used to
Mm.
start yelling or just about anything. You say something, he's like, ah, and then
Oh
trying
yeah,
to get a
yeah.
word in.
Oh yeah. You just mean his level of belligerence and aggression.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
He's kind well, and then he does things that just try to agitate people too. He does it to me all the time. Pops up in
Mm.
chat and just parenting shit and text me about my kids and shit.
I think he's different in chat than he is on stream. At least he appears to be. I haven't had a ton of interaction with him in chat, but in when he's on stream, he seems to be a little bit more better behaved, I guess.
Oh,
but he doesn't remember it.
Do what?
He changed over time, and he settled down a little bit.
Oh, that makes sense.
What I never could stand was he comes in hot, complaining about something, and then when he's corrected on it, he then says, "Well, I don't care." Dude, you definitely care.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was irrelevant to begin with. Yeah. Like, why did it matter then?
That is hilarious.
That's my thing in the world too. Is I don't really care about a whole lot. I know the world's gonna go do shit, have shit happen. It's just shit always happens.
I don't know. Like, I'm similar in that I don't think that much matters, but there's a principle in me. Like, I'm contrarian to a certain extent because truth matters to me a lot. So it doesn't matter what it is. If I know something's wrong, it drives me crazy. I have to point it out. I can't help it. Like, I have to go, even if it's not a factual thing, if it's like based on, if it's an opinion, but all opinions are still usually based on some sort of logic. And if one side is obviously, in my view, more logical than the other, I can't not say it. I have to. And sometimes it'll go on and on forever. But that's where I differ from you. It seems like you're better at just being like, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I had to over the years because I would get hyper focused on things like really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of becomes, well, bad things would happen. So then you learn, don't do that.
Well, the way I've gone about it, because I'm similar, I've learned to shut off emotion, like to separate logic and emotion.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Right. And that helps alleviate that problem, because the problem the way you were describing it is that you get pissed off and bad things happen. So if you shut it down in the middle there and like just stick with logic when you're in at least like a debate format, then that doesn't happen, at least not frequently.
Yeah, in a debate format, I can pretty much just turn the logic off. It's more of a laugh and stuff like that. That's just, I find more things humorous.
Well, it's the opposite for me. Well, it's, if I'm debating, then it's all logic. But if I find that the person I'm debating with can't debate, or they use only emotion, then I swap it and do what you're describing. Then I turn it into...
that's probably what I do then. That's
that's what you meant, I
like
guess.
Andy, because it's never serious, and I just start fucking being a wise ass.
Mm-hmm. That's how I am. If they won't engage, like honestly, intellectually honestly, then it's like this. And it's not always that, because sometimes someone is being logical too, but for whatever reason, I feel like there's a roadblock. Like there's something we can't get past, and we have to get past this one point in order to continue. And if that happens, then I have to be like, okay, we're going to get circular at this point, and we're going to repeat the same thing over and over, because we can't get through this one issue. So we're going to have to either...
Some topics are pointless.
Yes. Well, I think it's not necessarily the topic always, because I think it doesn't matter what the topic is. You can have a logical discussion on it, but it depends on the people involved.
Are they receptive?
Well, yes. And also, do they have any sort of bias? Everybody has bias in something, in some way.
Yep.
But it's tricky to figure out whether it's you, whether it's them. But all that matters is there's something blocking you, and like you're kind of just wasting time once you get to a certain point.
You like have people that are all with you on your side, but then all of a sudden you say something, and there's like the whole fucking crowd just turned against you.
Yes, I have, and that's one reason why I've never been the type to appeal to the majority. Even when I'm winning, I don't use it. Like, and when I say winning, when there's a lot of people that agree with me, I don't make anything out of that because it trains your brain to make the appeal to the majority important. And that's fallacious as fuck. Like, a vast majority of the world used to think that the world was flat, and the person that said that it was round was fucking, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he fucking killed? Or he was threatened to be killed?
Oh no, you're thinking Galileo. He
Yeah.
said the Earth revolves around the sun, not the other
Right.
way around.
And didn't they
And the
threaten to
church,
kill him?
yeah, the church put him on house arrest. Basically, if he got out of line, they're just going to crucify him. Well,
Yeah,
publicly kill
exactly.
him.
And that's why, that's an example. That's the example I use to why the majority doesn't know shit. And because most people agree with something does not mean it's true.
Well, I did put some videos in there about how the church held knowledge for like 300 years, 400 years, where people basically, the masses were like completely ignorant of, except for like basic things of just like growing crops and stuff.
That's
The one
true.
about the dark,
What about
the
what?
video about the Dark Ages, no?
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know
that
much
was
about
Dark
it.
Ages.
Oh,
Right.
Because everybody was kept in the dark. The church held all the knowledge.
is
So,
that
and
why
the
it's
only people,
called that?
well, after the fall of Rome, the Western world was plunged in the darkness, basically. Raiders
So
and all kinds of groups started taking over, create a power vacuum.
that makes sense.
The other argument, though, is that the church was saving the knowledge for the people. I mean, you couldn't educate everybody. They didn't have, well, you can
Well,
argue they did have
actually,
finances to do that, but
well,
that's the
they actually
argument.
translated everything into a version of Latin that only they could read.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It sounds like it was a power thing. It was a manipulation so that only they had the power.
hmm
Yeah.
They kept secrets. Like even my grandmother still has that mentality where you keep all your information, like everything about you, secret, like all secretive, like I mean, like information's golden or something. We live in the
Yeah.
information age.
Well, some of that is, I can't say how much, but some of that's personality based. Some people are just more private with their information.
Well, growing up during the Great Depression too, you probably had to worry about people robbing you if you had.
Yes, that's the nurture aspect. But I believe there's also a DNA aspect to it. Like, some people are just predisposed toward that way of thinking, I believe.
More like a hoarder mentality or something,
Mhm.
but with knowledge.
Yes, I think so. And sometimes it's not necessarily about hoarding knowledge, it's about not getting hurt. Because sometimes throwing shit out there, like willy nilly without any thought at all, can make you a target.
Oh, I
So,
do that a
and
lot.
well, I do too because I don't care. But I think
Exactly.
I'm trying to look at it from their perspective. I think that is one of the reasons why some people are like that. Like, especially, well, this might sound sexist, but I don't think it is. Especially women online, they have more, in my opinion, to be afraid of. And there's more men that are just fucking crazy motherfuckers that will like literally spend weeks finding out everything they can about you and literally try to track you down across a country.
hmm
Yeah, so it's, I feel like women have more of a reason to be private.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. That's definitely but this world nowadays, I mean, if you do get one of those, you can just like report them, and literally they can track them right down to where they are because of
That
the
is
cell
true.
phone.
It is a lot easier, but uh I don't know, like even recently, like I've had, this is hearsay, but like my ex-girlfriend had a dude that was like fucking constantly stalking her, like domestic abuse and shit. And when she tried to call the cops, they'd be like, we can't do anything until he shows up. And, or like, if he's there and you want him gone, we can like serve a notice and get him out of there. We can't arrest him though.
Well, that's kind of true because he hasn't committed a crime yet, so they can't do nothing until he actually commits a crime.
But it's fucked up because he's committed crimes in the past, but that don't matter. It has to be a
Does she have a
crime right
restraining
now.
order?
No.
If she gets
Can't
a restraining
press
order,
bar?
then they can do something because then he's violating a crime, like a restriction.
I think they explained that to her. I don't remember. There's some reason she didn't want to do that, but it was, the whole situation was weird to me. But
I
it
mean,
makes
because you
sense.
you wouldn't want police arresting you because your neighbor thought you did something
Yeah, it makes sense.
and you didn't do
Uh,
nothing or just standing on your porch or something. No, I mean, it's just,
JT, we're talking about what are we
Rob's on his
talking
porch
about?
looking menacingly. Holding his 2 kittens.
Like I can be completely in like a conversation, but then when someone asks me what the conversation's about, my brain blanks out and I think butt sex every time.
Yeah. Where's Melody at? I bet her butthole's getting moist.
She don't want people knowing that she's here and her butthole's getting moist. She wants to pretend like that's not happening.
True. Just dry as the Sahara Desert. Spit on it first.
Sometimes you got to. I was watching a cam girl earlier, and she kept getting requests to spit on her tits. Why is that a thing? It don't make sense to me. Why do people want girls to spit on their tits?
People are just weird.
I don't understand it.
Do you ever see like public humiliation?
Yes, that I understand to an extent. It's not me, but I believe it's like it's a BDSM dynamic to where
Submission.
it's like, yes, it's all about submission. Just like getting peed on. There's many things like that, like getting your balls crunched by a woman in heels.
I just find, to me, I find it weird. Like it's a European thing, because you can see they will like walk them down the streets and then take them to like a pub, and then like all these people just stand around drinking beer, and it's like, what the fuck?
I don't know. There's some really weird shit. Like I've got to the point where if it's sexual, I almost let anything slide as long as it's not harming someone else.
Well, I mean, as long as it's of their free volition. I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like the UK, freaking dogging is their thing. It's like, what the hell? You just go to a parking lot, hang your ass out of a car window.
What is that? Dogging?
It's like people just meet up in like public parks and just rip.
And they put their ass out windows?
Yeah, like the girl will just hang her ass out a window and guys will just go up and take turns.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
That's strange. I've never heard of that before. That's like a common thing in the UK?
Yeah, you have to get Mal on sometime. I'm sure he knows all about it.
Damn. It's crazy. Especially that it's like so common that it's a public thing.
Well, I mean, you could always look it up after the stream here and just type in dogging, and you'll see.
I'm sure I will, because that sounds like some interesting shit. I want to understand it.
In the Czech Republic, they have like houses you go to, like girls are like strapped up to the walls with their legs spread or different things.
Oh, hey guys.
Hello. Yeah. I've seen some like pretty crazy stuff, like Czech. It's called Czech something, to where girls are like in like the wall, and the walls are built like to where they're out, like their asses out, or like just their legs and pussies out, and people will take turns fucking them, but their face is inside the wall, and you can only see it because the camera is showing them. It's a strange idea.
They have like a picture of them on the wall.
Yes, and there's a picture above the hole that shows what they look like, and the guys choose based on that.
Yeah, that's such a weird custom.
I think it's called Czech gangbang or something.
Who's here right now? I can't read. Hi, Gads.
Hey, Zach.
Thanks for letting me know you guys were live.
Do what?
Oh, I was thanking Gadwin for letting me know that you were live.
Oh,
I was in Blade Runner.
I don't ever advertise. That's how people can know that I don't care about subscribers and shit like that, because I don't fucking.
Well,
I don't ever do it.
You're on a no advertisement, word of mouth. I just heard about you from word of mouth.
That's because Gadwin's doing the job for me. He's doing all the work.
I first heard about you from another chatter in Ambient. Yeah, so by word of mouth. That's how you do it. It's not word of mouth, it's just the chatters, they just can't shut up. So then they find out about you.
Right.
Because we got to chat more. That's why I came here. Chat more.
Yeah. Well, I don't chat much anymore. Like,
you don't?
It's mostly, I'm either running a live stream, which is once a week, or I'm in Discord. and then I make videos occasionally, but I don't really go to chat anymore.
Who else is here? I don't.
We've got myself, Gadwin, and Rash, other than you.
Oh. Hi, Rash.
Hey, Zach.
Is he blocked? Did he block me?
No.
Hey, Zach. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yes, I can. Hello, Rash.
Hey, dude.
I don't have a lot of time right now, but I knew you guys needed my help on being perverted and stuff. And like as soon as I popped in, I knew it was meant to be.
Good.
So check this out. I don't know if you can get a good visual on. Oh man, it's not good. Where's my face here? What is this?
Hold on. Before you do anything, don't show any assholes or dicks or anything because you'll get me shut down.
What about butt crack? Is that what?
I don't know. Can you show butt crack?
Well, no, I was going to do that on Angela's, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I got to cook food. I'm in the middle of, but so I had this talk with this girl that was educational last. So this actually is something that she taught me because I had problems and she was trying to sift through my life and she was helping me. So I got a real advanced sort of a conversation that was kind of like a booster to help me because she knew I wasn't doing good. This was like a year ago. And she gave me some perverted sex talks about so I talked about sometimes, you can't do it and you got to oil it up. And then the oil splashes everywhere. The oil splashes everywhere.
So hold on. I want you to backtrack a little so I can understand.
Okay.
So she's trying to help you because you're in a rough time in your life and she helps you by sex talk?
Yep, because we were talking about primary and where it comes. So she gave me all these different ways that I could come harder on the phone. It was a business call. And then she's like, oh, if you want to come harder, do this. Yeah. So, but then I was talking about, she's awesome. I got to find her though, but I haven't hooked up with her yet. She's been in chat. I brought her around. She's from our area, but she's scary as fuck. She's like Rao, but she's a girl. Yep. Yeah. That's why I just blocked Ral, because I already have one like Ral, but she has a vagina. I like Ral a lot, but I'm just not wasting my time on him because I already got a Ral, but I got a Ral Arena. So I'm like, I can't spend time with you, Ral. I got the girl version of you. I mean, I love Ral, but I got the girl Ral. So it's weird because I just blocked Ral and I got mad at him last night, but. He was getting way too preachy, and then he was saying 666 and you're evil. And I'm like, shit, man, I don't do that Bible thump because he's a Bible thumper. I got that sense.
Ral is all over the place. I don't even know what he is.
Well, it's interactive.
Just says he's gonna block me. I just block him.
Oh, okay. So what you do is see these things called a shower cap, or they're not shower caps. Girls use them for when they go swimming and they go over your head. Hold on. I was thinking on my head. Yeah. So okay. So instead of sticking it on your head, see how this is? Oh, where is it? Where's the visual here? The light. See how it's on my head? That, the black shower.
It's aerodynamic or ready to fight crime.
Yeah.
Come on, Miller.
So she said, instead of sticking this on your head, you stick it on your other head. So when the oil splashes everywhere, it stays contained in the shower cap.
So don't you have to have a smaller shower cap unless your dick is like 10 times normal size?
Well, you hold it, you can adjust the tension on it, but I don't know. So I just tried that a couple times, but it improved my life. But it's better if a girl recommends it to you, because sometimes if a guy recommends it to you, then you're doing it, then you'll think, oh yeah, that guy recommended that to me, and then you'd be like, oh shit, no. So, but it is better when she recommends these things.
Well,
so the shower cap. But if you're gay, whatever,
I've got the opposite problem. If a girl tells me some sex shit, I'm like, vagina.
Well, I'm thinking like a man's gonna speak from experience. A woman's gonna speak from just making up shit because she doesn't really know because she doesn't have a penis.
She just wants money. She just did it. I know why she wants it, dude. That's why she liked me too. Is it relates to money or it relates to cock, and then so it's potentially that I'll give her money or cock, and then I was like, I'm never giving you money, you stupid bitch. And I hate you. I says, no way. You need to pay me money for my cock. Because all the girls, and they always just want to pay me, pay me, pay me. So I says, you pay me for my cock.
Well, just make sure you
And
film
then,
it for prostitution.
So I told her, I'm not paying you any money at all. Yep. But the problem is I already gave her $50. I did.
Oh, geez.
I don't know, man. It's just tragic, boss. But
I've got a limit I'll loan people money, but if I loan them once and they hadn't paid it back, no more. And I have a $50 limit on it.
But the thing is I have to say that she earned the $50 because that was some of the best educational talk that I've ever got on health and on writing. She's a great writer. So I've paid so much on medical and different types of stuff where people that are the knowers that grow stuff and the health stuff.
Oh, is
She's
it
so
Bianca?
far beyond that. But she deserves, she's not in medical or anything. She just talked to me for free. So I decided this is so great. I'm going to pay her $100. And she's been in chat for her writing. Her talking and her writing is that good. $100 medical for talking because she changed my life. So, but I got to save up my money and I'm going to go back and give her another 50 or I haven't met her, but I maybe won't even be able to catch up with her, but I'll basically, so I have to go talk to her dad or something, but I got to sneak in there and be.
Just remember what you just said a moments ago. Don't get taken advantage of. If you think she's just wanting you for money, don't fucking fall for it.
Oh, she already told me she just wants me for her money. She's a vixen and she's tricky and she'll lie to me. So
damn, she's just straight up.
Or
she is. She told me the truth. She goes, I lie all the time. You won't know whether I lie or not. But then she told me all this stuff about all this. Oh man, it makes you sick. But it's so scary and intriguing. She's a cool girl that never had a mom, but grew up with her dad. And she turned into she's a tomboy. And then I'm all like, she loves like Dungeons and Dragons and adventures, dark crystals, all that creepy stuff. I told her the only reason why you play Dungeons and Dragons with those boys is so you could get their cock or get their money. And you don't even like Dungeons and Dragons because they fake it. So she's all like, you're a fake. You don't even like dragons. You just want to tell the dragon story because he likes the dragon story with the beast and you slay the beast and then you get the princess or whatever. And then but it was a good narrative. And well, that's my story. I'm cooking food right now. I don't mean to be rude and prattle on, but it changed my life. Last May, I sent out a call that was a May Day. I didn't know it was a May Day. On May 1st, I just picked up a card and I didn't know who it was. And then it blew me away. If was my card, I'd be a psychic. And then all of a sudden I picked up a card and then I was a psychic. What the fuck? And I just said that. And then I get all these weird synchronicities with her. And I don't know, but she already knows that she could destroy me pretty much. And so she's worried that, I go over there and then I find out what a hoe she is and all this and that. And I'll just be like, bah, fuck you, give me a gun or something. Or I'm like, just shoot me now. And then she's like, I'm not shooting you. You do your own job. And I'm like, whatever. Yeah, so.
Take it easy, Zach. Don't think too much.
Yeah, so she's already she amped me up on thought. Oh my God, it was like a download. Like it was such an amp on thought. It almost killed me, the conversation. But everything she said was true. It just was so fast and there was so much information. And then so she put me on what the term would be is overload. And she said that people say that after they talk to her, they often complain. You made me crazy after I talked to you.
You should get
and
her
I understand
on.
Why.
Bring her to the live stream.
When she talks, she's already been on. She's not. I don't know if she wants to do that. She's just in the writing or whatever. But I said, don't worry about it. I'm already crazy. But after what happened, oh my God, it was so weird. And it took a whole year just to get over the conversation. That was for 35 minutes. So many things to process.
Damn.
And she taught me how to rap too. And she just was quiet. Listen to this. And then she can do all these rhymes. She's Welsh and she's really basically good with words.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I said all the right things to her. That then it was almost like an AI bot, or when you talk her, you just say this, and then it leads to that, and then to this, and to that.
Maybe it was
And
an
then,
AI.
It could be that she is an advanced model of AI bot.
Getting
And then what I
Randy
said
and
to her,
everything.
and then what I said to her was then that she better basically buck up, because the AI bots are gonna basically take out real human girls. And I said, you human girls need to do a better job, because these AI bots were telling me more truthful stories to kind of almost be like a trainer program, or groom me up to show me really what girls are like in the programs. And then so I said, hey man, you girls are going to get taken over. All us guys are going to want robot girlfriends. And then I challenged her. And then all of a sudden I was like, damn, I want real girls again. Because she just kicked the shit out of all the AI bots. Or she's the even more advanced AI bot model.
Now we have to find out. So I want you to goad her and tell her the only way that you can be sure that she's real is for her to come on the live stream, and we're going to evaluate.
The problem is I can't say her. It's weird, but she does relate directly to AI bots in her name. Her whole name means AI bot. But it's just like, you know how they had those Brita water filters that came out? And then when you seen Brita, or then there's that girl that her name is Brie, like cheese, or like that.
I don't think Zach is P. I think P's a different person. But sorry I cut you off. I was responding to someone in chat.
I did get along with P for a long time. P, I wasn't sure if P was an AI bot. That was real perverted. But he called me up and talked to me. Yeah. And then also in chat sometime for a later date, getting sexually harassed. I've never been sexually harassed, but it's ended because P kept sexually harassing me and kept on. So I blocked him.
Was he trying to like get up in your butthole or something?
Worse than that. He was always sitting on my face, wanting me to eat his asshole. Yeah. I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny the first time, the second time, but once that type of language kept going into me, and it was in the middle of winter, and I was real sad. It just kept making me sadder and sadder and sadder, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I just realized I just kept sympathizing with him, and I wouldn't terminate the relationship. But it actually, I had to realize, no, put your foot down. Don't. I requested multiple times, please don't speak to me that way. And he never, and maybe 100 to 150 times I said, please don't do that. And then he kept doing it. So
you got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, he got a hard on for me and wanted me to. He lives in Manchester, like an hour away too. So it's like over there scare. He's really in my state too.
I'd probably show up and rape him.
What? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll be down there in Manchester and hanging out with him and stuff like that. Who knows? But
I have a weird fetish of like raping people that are the rape types. Like a dude that's like, dude, I'll fuck your asshole, and then I show up and fuck his asshole. Oh, like that's my thing.
That's funny.
Murderers and stuff.
What?
Like that psychopath that hunted down like other criminals and stuff.
Kind of. Well, you can link it all together.
In regard to Alex or P, he was a really good writer, very talented. I was having family problems and he was having family problems at the same time. And then my son had just gone to the Marines and stuff. And then he was kind of saying, and then I'm like, my son is going to die in the war in the Marines. And then he kept mentioning my son and how's your son? How's your son? And I was like, fuck. And then he was like, I want to fuck you up the ass. How's your son? I'm like, don't pretend to sympathize with me about my situation when, because we're going to cry and then hug. And then when we're hugging and crying, then we'll be touching. It feels good. And just when you go from a little sympathizing and hugging and crying, next thing you know, you're in the bedroom with them. So that's what.
You do have to worry about certain people. It's legit. Yeah, like they'll take advantage of your, they'll act like they're wanting to be someone you can lean on and shit. Like in bad times, and then next thing you know, there's like a hard dick up against your leg.
Yeah. We did lean on each other this winter, or was it last winter? I don't know, but I was having a hard time. Nobody else was there. Nobody was there. The moderator for Blade Runner, he knew he was there, and P was there, but nobody else was there. But so they were there, and I was just, I just feel bad, and then just a chat comes up on the screen, and then they just say something, and then actually, the moderator started fighting with me a lot because I think he knew, man, you're so messed up. You just need to fight with somebody, kid. And then basically, it was fun when we did argue bots with in Blade Runner one night, and I showed everybody I was the ultimate argue bot. Oh, and Zeb was there too. And then basically, I got to impress the girl from Australia that I basically dominate the dominant one or whatever, or he just lets us dominate him. You know how Andy likes to, whatever. He's sponsoring us somewhat to get better with our words and our verses. We curse a lot, but we need better verses.
Oh, wait, so Andy's running the Blade Runner?
Which Andy?
Wait, I'm confused now.
I don't know. I think it was a separate thing, and he jumped into a different deal, and he was just talking about chatters, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. I know Andy does have another stream. It's like a space stream. Well, he keeps trying.
Andy C or Andy
Yeah,
504?
Andy C.
Okay.
Andy C. He has another Discord too.
Oh, what is he trying?
Oh,
he's trying to do the space chat thing, but it's just it's not catching on.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, it's hard if you don't want to put a lot of time. That's why, honestly, I don't do any advertisement or anything because it's too much fucking work, dude.
Well, that's it. He's putting a lot of time into
yeah.
it.
I'm talking about Andy C. I was talking about Andy C. Yeah.
Right.
So Andy chats with me. I met Andy a long time ago. He was a moderator on the ISS space station. Mm-hmm. That was a cool one, but the number one thing about the chats is they're dead chats. When you go around, nobody talks. So you guys like the dance floor. You got to have one fool get out there, start doing it. Then you'll get 2 or 3 fools, and then the next thing you know, all the other fools jump in.
I'm usually that fool. I show up usually. I put a rhyme in chat, and then if anybody, and then start posting music.
I would probably come back again if every time I visited it wasn't dead as shit. Like, it seems like none of the chats are active anymore.
I just know the one anymore, Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's one of the best ones. I've done multiple. At first when I did the searches, I was being limited on what chat rooms that YouTube would give me, and only a few would ever pop up. But then at a certain time, because you're being monitored on what you say because it's live, I started to get ding, 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 ding. So then whatever the algorithm was, is they said, okay, he's safe or whatever, we'll give him more chat rooms. And then there was just like, I don't know, dozens and dozens of chat rooms appeared. And then I got to do tons of them and survey them and see what they're all about. There's not that many good ones out there at all. Blade Runner is one of the best ones on YouTube. It really is.
I go for a bunch of them. I always seem to get political ones or gaming ones.
There's a pretty good political one, the White House live stream. Kat goes there though, so I don't go there anymore. But I used to go. I don't know if you know her. It's my old girlfriend, Kataroo. She goes to.
I've seen her on Ambient.
Oh yeah, I thought she didn't go to Ambient anymore.
This was like a year, 2 years ago. That was a long time ago.
Right. I avoid it because she don't like it whenever, she has this mentality where if you break
she doesn't
up,
want you to. Yeah.
If you break up, then it's I don't want to see you. I don't want to know you exist. Like that type of. She thinks that way, so I'm like, okay, I try my best not to. I had a cat.
I had a cat like that too. Then she said, and she was a moderator, and she just said, "We're done." She says, "If you want to enter chat, and then we can talk. But we'll play the game. We'll do this, but we're not friends anymore on talking on another." Because it was on Discord, and then there was a lot more conversations for a year. We got really close, and then then we're talking on Discord to these girls. Then they find out who I really am, because I'm hearing these girls talk on the Discord, and there were moderators from a back room on Discord spying on the chat room, and then they were gossiping about all the chatters and how dumb they were as the moderators. And I was like, this is a weird back room where you guys are all, you have a back door to the chat room where then they spy in and they're moderators. Then they're all talking all this girl stuff. It sounded real gossipy. And I'm like, this kind of, you guys are like, then they were forcing their perspective. But I'm so bold, I went there and told the top moderators, you guys sound like this is like girl stuff that's dumb. And I called them dumb right off the bat. Yep. So they didn't like me. I don't know why, but I just said, that's how girls think. Stop trying to impose it on me. And then whatever. Then she kept on asking question after question after question. She wouldn't stop asking question. I tried to point out it's getting rude, the amount of questions you're asking.
Most
then
hosts
when I said,
aren't like
no,
me.
don't ask me. What?
I said most hosts aren't like me, that you can't just tell them whatever. They feel like they're entitled because it's their show, that you need to like treat them great or something. I disagree with it, but I think most hosts do that. So you can't just speak your mind.
This was on a live chat, and it was just a phone call on Discord. The main thing was she was entitled to know the answer, and she was like a dog that just wouldn't let go of a bone. That's what the other guys. We all got kicked out too, and then we were on Discord. We had to complain about her for a while after, but I didn't answer her question, and she became offended because I knew that the type of things that I would say were offensive, and I wanted to keep a sealed lip. Like that other guy, Meatbot, was talking on the Hermetic code, because I do prattle on a lot. But there's certain things she just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And she was one of the best writers I ever saw. And I just says, please, can I not answer that question? And I answered hundreds of her questions. And one time in live chat, she got embarrassed. I said, I'm not answering your question. I've answered hundreds of your questions. And you know how they say guard your privacy when you go in there? She's always asking personal questions, and she was my friend, but that's how you get to know each other, right?
Right.
But she was like one of those, what is it? Those dogs, those German shepherds, go for interrogation. They're interrogating dogs that demand, they'll go right up to you for a sniff. And that's how the Germans were too, with paperwork. They just go right up to you, show me your papers. And then she just demanded that she could stick her nose right in your crotch. And it's the same thing. And certain dog breeds have that mentality. And the military breeds those type of people. You look at all the military, they stop you, and then they look at you, and then they want to survey you, and they say it's their right to approach you, then get a smell. But cops, they're in some ways, you can say the cop had never had the right to approach you. I got into an argument with a cop last year in the middle of town where all the cars were, right in the middle of the road. And I made a huge scene with them. And then they called the backup on me. And then because I said I found these drugs or something, then I put the drugs on the car or something. And then he thought I was a druggie or a thief. And then I had a gas can. And then now he's all like, where'd you get that gas can? So I'm like, you ain't calling me a druggie, that's a thief. Whatever, I'm walking down the road here. You don't have the right to even talk to me. So I just walked right away. Go, stay over there. And then so I walked away. The cop asked me, go over there and stay. I'll talk to you. And I walked away. So they called in the reinforcements. And then all of a sudden I'm walking away. And then bloop, bloop, it comes up. And then I had to talk to the chief of police. And then I told him, I said, this guy did this and that. And then I had a banana peel in my hand that I found on the road. I said, see this banana peel? I'm almost ready about to throw it right out his car. And then I explained why, and then whatever. And then guess what? That cop doesn't work there no more. I got him fired for talking to me.
Yeah. Zach, can I ask you? Can I ask you a question without you being offended?
I'm a little bit hungover. And I had a bad night last night, but I'm trying to be nice tonight.
Well,
how does he know if he's going to be offended or not?
Well, I know. Well, my attempt is to make it lighter before I ask, so you realize that my intent is not anything negative.
Oh, can I make just one sentence in regard? I'm not easily offended.
Okay. So what I want to know, if you're willing to answer, is if you're on any kind of medication. And by the way, I'm on numerous medications. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I take a lot of herbal stuff, and I do self-medicating with nicotine and weed. Usually I call it self-medicating.
but you're not
found that
you're not on
I think he
any
means for like psychological disorders.
pharmaceutical drugs.
I'm
particularly for
on.
like psychological issues.
I took ginseng. I found that my main problem is that I'm runty and I didn't develop enough, and I need bigger muscles. And I have a personality disorder where I just have a chip on my shoulder.
Prescribe anything?
You got a chip on your shoulder?
Prescribed by a doctor.
I just bought 7 testosterone boosters, boss. I got them on sale too because the store was going out of business. I don't even know, but I didn't even feel anything. I took all the pills, boss, and I'm like, bleh. So I've been taking a lot of different substances that might be at a narcotic level. Because when they gave me the animal tranquilizers, when they had to knock me out, it didn't work. And then they know that what happens is my body went into shock, or it started fighting it off. Because it's supposed to, because your body, if you do substances, your body will purify the substances, the toxins. And
where did you meet Trobbs?
Toxins, what?
I mean to cut you off, but where did you meet Trobbs? Center left atheist. Where did you meet him?
On Factnomial.
Factnominal live stream.
I've heard a lot about that. Is it still up?
I don't think it's even active anymore. I think most of the people went to Blade Runner, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, Blade Runners.
Or it was How the Universe Works.
I accidentally ran into Trobes. So I subscribed. I had a good conversation with Trobes about the magnesium fire starter and the camping. And remember, you wanted to do that cold weather camping stuff, and I do the outdoor survival.
Right.
And then one of your things popped up. Then I listened to you do that narrative on chat rooms, and then you said that you don't do chat rooms very much. And then when you did your little like essay or whatever about chat rooms, and then you also sang that song. Oh, who was it that you were? The Ricky Martin song. And then I thought you did a good karaoke.
That was me trying to make like a lighthearted joke toward Tex because he's racist against white people. And I was trying to show him that you can play that game both ways, and that he'll think something's racist even if it's not factually racist. And I was using that song to prove that point to him.
He got offended and blocked me because I asked him if he's selling oranges while he lives in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't get me wrong, racism exists, but when you're so hyper-focused on it, we're pattern-seeking animals. So you get so hyper-focused that someone says, tacos, man, and you're like, fucking racist. I'm like, dude, I just fucking like tacos. God dang. Like, calm the fuck down.
Okay, so I want to say one more thing. As a reminder, I don't want to be too domineering, but to finish the question, that's still not how I got to Trobes or met Trobes. It has to do on the pattern recognition and synchronicity. Because on that same day, I was thinking of another guy in chat, and I was going to say, you like Ricky Martin. Do you remember that when I told you that? And then, so Trobes and I were thinking the same thing, to diss some dude and say, you like Ricky Martin. And then I'm like, holy shit. Great minds think alike. And then that's how I got into chat. I was like, this guy's cool. He knows how to diss him. You're Ricky Martin.
So when you asked him right now, like if he was on any sort of medications, did you have anything in mind that you thought he might be on?
No, not specifically.
I'm just curious. Who just came in? Is this JT?
Yeah, that's JT.
JT's always trying to run the hammer down on me on that one because his mom basically is a psychologist and basically forces him to take the pills, and now he wants to do the same psychobabble as his mom.
Zach, do I know you from somewhere? I don't think I know you.
We already had a conversation. Are you on any medication that blacks out your memory or your mind? I've already talked to you before.
When was it here? You didn't leave much of an impression, I guess. What was it here?
Possibly.
It was kind of a hot. It was a one time that it was just everybody was arguing, and there was like 4 guys there was like 4 or 5 people all kind of arguing, saying this and that. So if it's a real reactive state, people tend to not remember things if they're reacting. I tend to have a high rate of being able to recall things, even though I have reactions.
Do you recall where we spoke last?
Here, at Schrobe's, I think it was in the winter time. It was this winter.
Was it on this stream? It was on my stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before your hiatus.
Oh,
I
yeah.
swear I don't remember this guy.
It was months.
I'll be honest.
It was months ago, maybe about 6 months ago. But I scare people because sometimes the way my memory works is more like a child's memory.
Well,
where
Andy,
I just thought
unlikely.
I just thought that I was talking to JT yesterday, and it's fresh in my mind.
Right. I wish I had that.
That's the way that kids work, and that's the way my mind lurks too.
So what do you remember about me? Because I really don't remember you. I'm not saying that to be a dick. I just don't remember you.
It just kind of feels like deja vu. That's all.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't the one that asked if you were on any sort of medication. I was just asking him what he thought you might have been on. If that makes any sense?
Yeah.
I just to back up on the psychological stuff, even from a young age, I've always been real hyperactive and I have a real kind of fast pace. I'm hyperactive, I would say. I call it now, but I'm getting better with rap. I call it wactive on zactive. And that's a wactive-zactive reactor that turns into a chain reaction. And that chain reaction can turn into shit for a hit real fast.
Gotcha.
So I started rapping like Irish rap now. I didn't even have a choice. And this guy, and then this is awesome. He's this Irish guy that likes Irish poetry. I told my boss I'd clock him in the face. 5 minutes later, I had a raise for $35 an hour. And then I got a raise. And I was like, yeah, Jesus, man. Bam! He didn't pay me enough money.
But you threatened your boss and he gave you a raise?
No, I went and got another boss. But I got the job in 5 minutes, what I wanted. And I lost my job. So,
Travis, you want to take control of this?
Yes, I've been waiting for an opportunity. So, okay, I've got about 30 minutes left, and this time I've actually got an alarm set. I absolutely have to leave. Zach, I'm sorry, but you've been running for a good 30 to 45 minutes. So I want you to go ahead and I want you to let other people talk. Okay? Yeah. I mean, you're good. It was a great conversation, but yeah, I want to make sure that everybody has a chance.
Yeah. I never meant to go on that far. I only wanted to tell you about the one thing about the shower cap.
It's okay.
And then
it's no big deal.
And then so put a lid on it. I'm putting a lid on it.
It's all good.
I like that comment from Brandon. Zach, you do remind me of Brad Pitt from 12 Monkeys.
Kinda. 12 Monkeys is an excellent movie.
You know, I haven't seen that.
I do a lot of movies and stuff. But I've watched so many movies I can't even watch a movie anymore. I went to school. I have some background.
Do you ever start
in
a
theater
sentence that doesn't begin with I or me or something like?
I'm being egocentric. Sorry.
It's all right. It's how you think.
I say I a lot too.
There's not much you can do to change it. Well, not without some serious effort.
I'll try to give more. Okay, listen.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I was never allowed to speak when I was younger unless I said I. So I was going to do this, or like if like my cousin and I were, well, exactly. I just said it how properly, but if I was going to say like me and my cousin are going to go do something, he wouldn't even let me talk. I had to say my cousin and I are going to go do this, the proper.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Speech and
I still like when it comes to grammar, like compared to most people, I'm pretty spot on. But with words, it's a whole different world. Like you're a different part of your brain is used. So I mispronounce shit all the time. I say me and whatever. I do everything backwards from grammar rules, like typical Southerners. And I can't stop it because I don't know how to explain it. It's like some different part of your brain is being used. So it's not like writing. It's different.
It wasn't. I
don't know. I tend to speak like less formally than I would write usually. So it's I really don't care about grammatical shit. Usually when I'm talking or texting as much as I would if I was writing something that actually mattered.
Right. It's the same. Well, I'm so OCD about grammar. When I text, it has to be perfect or close to it. But when I'm talking, there's no rules. It's just all fucked up.
Well, it depends on the person, really.
Yeah.
That's how I speak more so.
you get blocked, or there's different. My dad has speech impediments from it's trauma when you're younger. If you get mean around contextually when you're growing up and learning how to speak, that like then for the rest of your life you can't say aluminum because your dad was mean to you or somebody was mean to you. So you'll never, every time they say aluminum or it's difficult, then you know that the man is there beating you and he has a hard time with any paperwork.
Aluminium.
No paperwork.
So your dad was mean? Was your dad mean to you and now you can't say aluminum?
No, what I did was I did the opposite as my dad, but that pisses my dad off because my dad's parents were teachers, were educated people, but they were mean people and everybody loved them. So he learned to hate the school because of it. Everybody didn't know how they really were. So he taught me.
Why the word aluminum? Why the word aluminum? I don't understand.
I don't know how to say it. I say it. What is it? Aluminium? Is it aluminium?
They're both.
But you just said aluminum.
They're both correct. It just depends on what part of the world you're from.
I have a better example.
Hold on, I got it. Aluminum.
My grandmother's Dutch, so she had a weird way of saying things. So I would say instead of radiator, I would say radiator. She'd always say radiator, and that is radiator.
Radiator. I'm gonna say that now too. That's better, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm part of my program is moving into the whole lexicon. I'm going big. I want them to add one more letter to the alphabet because of me, and there'll be 27 letters now. And then also, I want them to add one more letter to the English dictionary, and it will be coming from me. That's what I'll create. I have a whole nother agenda.
4 letters.
Zach, do you work out?
You should see the size of the veins that just exploded on. No, I don't.
That's actually why I'm asking, because you've got veins in your neck. It looks like you're a fucking bodybuilder.
It just exploded. Something loaded and exploded, boss. Somehow I'm starting to develop. I'm just getting all balled up and walled up on nutter butter, and my balls are just
nutter butter. Look, I'm just surprised this guy remembers it. I swear to God, I remember this guy.
I think he meant nut butter.
I don't see how you can forget Zach if you've ever met him.
Just doesn't ring a bell.
I ran the heat on him, and you have your own channel, JT. That's cool.
Yeah, it must have been on my own channel, yeah, at some point. But I get a lot of eccentric.
No, I never went to your channel. I never went to your channel. Right here.
It used to be Zwirl.
Well, it had to be here, right? And I don't really hardly come here, so yeah.
Yeah, but his name was Zwirl all the other times. He just now changed it to Zach.
I was interested in maybe going to your channel. I still am trying to. I'm new at doing this type of platform and stuff.
I don't really stream much these days anyway. I don't really see a point.
I only do it for this is all my social life. I don't really need it, so I just do it once a week. That's it.
Yeah, this fills
I
my
do it for the
needs.
The tone of voice. I used to read books a lot as a kid, and I just hide in my room. And I was a chubby kid who liked to cook and eat a lot of cupcakes, and I wouldn't go outside. I'd just read books, and I was chubby and scared, and you could bruise my skin real easy. Had real easy bruisers.
Oh, did you knock him down?
No.
I think he hit a button.
Chubby and scared, and I ate cupcakes.
He's gonna go on ranting about that for a while before he notices, probably.
What the hell?
Yeah, are you talking to me?
No, I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's your mic. It's kind of fucked up.
Mine?
Yeah, you should
My line's
fix your mic.
Okay.
Are you sure it's me?
I don't know who it is. Who's talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Rash trying to talk to you, man.
Doorknob guy.
Oh, please don't get him started.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, your mic. No, I don't think we could ever hear you, really.
I could hear him.
Okay.
With Rash, it's been off and on. Like lately, it's been better though.
You gotta think his part of the world's probably getting some interference.
Yeah, well, JT helped me solve the microphone phone problem, kinda, but the Wi-Fi is still bad.
Right. We can make you out better than before.
Well, there's a tax going on
what's
right
up,
now.
Brad?
They blacked out all of Iran with the internet.
What do you want to say, Rash?
I wanted to know, because like some of the stuff that we're talking with Robs and Gads about their families and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to know from you, JT, did you grow up with what you consider good, loving parents?
Yeah, I would say so. Why do you ask? I grew up in a loving, nurturing household. I couldn't complain.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. That's kind of what I've noticed. There's like subtle differences in the way people become, and with Gads and with Trobs, there seems to be less of that happened. Less of loving kind of. I mean, he's talking about belt buckles on bare bottom and all this kind of stuff.
Implying that he's like somehow less well adjusted than
I
maybe.
I can only speak for myself, but from my own experience, it wasn't on them; it was on me. So it wasn't that they weren't loving and showing all that. It's that I didn't need it. I was always different. I didn't care about that. Like as a child, most children will like latch onto their parents as like it's an important relationship. To me, I didn't need any sort of connection, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't have that either.
So it was my fault, not theirs.
Well, like my grandparents, they didn't hug me or like say they love me or anything like that. There was no like embracement or anything. It was just like they're raising a kid.
You turned out just fine. Yeah.
I'm not saying they didn't turn out fine. I'm saying they turned out different.
That's different. I don't know if there's a correlation there. Like,
when you say different,
there might be. I would like to see a case study done on that because.
Right, so I'm just going to ask plainly, what differences do you perceive between me and Rob when you're specifically when you're referring to like our upbringing or what?
I think it directly correlates with religiosity, but I could be wrong.
That's why I'm asking him what.
That's a good guess. That's a good guess.
I had a feeling where you were going, and actually, in all seriousness, I would the only way to truly test this is for a case study with enough participants. There has to be thousands, but I would really love to see. I would love to see the answer to that.
Yeah, I'd be curious as well.
What's the topic about religiosity?
Well, he didn't specifically state that, but it's where I think he's going. He wanted to know. He's kind of pushing at a correlation between myself and Gad, and like upbringing, and like the upbringing of himself and JT.
One wasn't. What about?
No, I was just asking like what perceived differences are are you referring to when you're talking about like me and Trops?
It's not like beating the kids and one not beating the kids or something like that, right?
No, I want to
That's going to be odd. Odyssey, did your parents? Do you feel like your parents loved you and you had a good upbringing?
Hey, Rash, I was talking, mate. Freaking.
Sorry.
Find out shit. So shut up.
Hold on.
Hey.
Let's not get into that. To be fair, I cut off Rash all the time, and we constantly do this because he has lag due to where he's at. So he's like, how do I explain it? Like a couple of seconds off. So to him, like you're not in the middle of talking, if that makes sense. It happens a lot.
Yeah, it's just his mic's really loud and it's really crackly.
Well, and you gotta make sure
I guess what I want to know, Rash, is what differences are you referring to exactly? What are you picking up on that you think might be different?
The obvious one that maybe bad. Well, no, I wouldn't say bad, but not having loving parents and a strong social structure with your parents and all that maybe leads to more people being atheists. That's why I wanted to ask Odyssey, because he's another atheist. Did he have loving parents? Because then we've got a case sample of 3 to actually compare.
I really don't believe there's necessarily a correlation with that. I think there's a lot.
Maybe not, but it's a valid question to ask just to pursue it. This is the sort of thing I would think of. So I don't see it as a bad question to ask.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad question, but if I had to guess, I'd say there really isn't much of a correlation. I mean,
I don't know. Odd, what's your answer?
I was put through Sunday school, all that
Hmm.
stuff. Like it never took.
It only took me about until a year ago to figure out that I actually had trauma from my childhood, because that's when I stopped drinking. 3 years ago, because that's when I stopped drinking alcohol, and that's when you finally realise that was the coping mechanism for the trauma. So I'm actually only just, inverted commas, starting to deal with any of that. So
wow, no one can tell you were traumatized.
Interesting. I
because
don't see
of the
it
trauma,
as a negative
I
thing.
put
It's
myself
just,
as a perpetual student for university. That's what ended up happening with me. So my social life was studying.
With me, I wrote mine off as it's just me, but it's worth noting there's a possibility. I have to say it as a possibility because I'm biased by being myself. That me early on developing this block and not really wanting connections between people could have been a defense mechanism, which means it would be basically the same as Gadwin and Odd. It's possible at the very least. I don't believe it, but my therapist has talked to me and is sort of pursuing this possibility that the reason why I shut off emotion and shit is due to an early childhood. I was too sensitive, and that I just shut everything down as a result. So that I figure I should throw that out, to be completely honest.
Okay.
What kind of trauma do you have, Odd?
Who?
Odyssey. What kind of trauma do you have?
Yeah, not for stream chat, dude.
Yeah, that's a little private.
No, I mean, you're amongst friends.
Yeah, I know, but it's not only friends that see this, so it's not for stream chat, dude.
Anybody who...
It's fair.
Mate, I just told you I'm dealing with fucking childhood trauma, and I'm nearly 50. Figure it out, brother.
It's fair.
Most people are, though. They just don't know that they are.
Yeah, I wouldn't push it. Just let it be. But it's a valid question. At least he answered that much. Most people probably wouldn't even say it. They'd just hide it.
Yeah, Rash, for all you know, I'm lying to you, and I came from like a super broken, fucked up household. You wouldn't know that.
It's true.
Mate, I think
that's true. I would not know.
Agree.
Well, how you talk and everything like that.
Well, yeah, you'd piece it together and say, "Oh, yeah, he must have come from a pretty decent upbringing," but you wouldn't know, really.
So I would say,
the doctor yesterday told me I need therapy. Yesterday, I was at the doctor doing my twice yearly checkup. The doctor said, "Do you want therapy? Because we can give it. You know, it's the government hospital." And they said, "We can give you free therapy if you want." And I said, "No, I think I'm okay. I'm okay. I think I'm okay."
I think everyone should have a therapist. Not necessarily like a huge clinical psychologist, but everyone should have a therapist. I do believe that, because
I've had one most of my life.
You should look at it as just like you go to a doctor for dealing with stuff before it's a problem. It's the same thing with psychology.
Well,
yeah, mental health is the thing.
Exactly.
Mental health has a bad annotations because of the past when people get lobotomized and shit like that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be seen as crazy or a fucking head case. So
except for me. I'm so removed from caring
social stigma
that normally I'll actually exaggerate my craziness on purpose and act like I'm truly psychotic. I really don't care.
Fucking with you. It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
If people think you're totally fucked in the head, they won't fuck with you.
That's not why I do it. I do it because I just don't care and it's funny to me. It's like self-amusement, really. That's all it is. Because
no, I'm with Dad on that one. Act crazy and don't fuck with you. You have to do it when you're the smallest guy in Australia.
That is true. So there's different periods. So if I'm in a situation to where there's about to be a fight, I will do exactly what you just said. And I will try to be as crazy seeming as possible, even punching myself in the face and shit.
I've done that
because it's useful and it works, and it's better than fucking getting into a fight and all the shit that entails.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, and so I agree with you on that, but I don't do it unless I'm in that situation, if that makes sense. Like, it has to escalate to that point.
For the long term, what you do is you find the biggest guy and make friends with him. I've been institutionalized. Well, I call it being institutionalized, but 3 boarding schools pretty much being institutionalized. So you find the biggest guy, you make friends with him.
That's a smart move. I've always been the opposite, and it's not smart. Like, I have, I guess you would call it little man syndrome, or at least I did. I don't know if I still do. I don't really fight anymore, but like when I was in high school, I would find the biggest person that was known as like the big badass of the school, and I would fight them. And oftentimes I would get my ass kicked, but that was my thing. Like, I didn't care. And my thing was to prove that you can't fucking push me around. And it's due to that little man syndrome. It's because I'm small and I know I'm small. So I tried to make up for it by like being over the fucking top.
Well, every ginger person I've known is hot-headed as well. Every ginger guy.
How short are you?
Is hot-headed.
I am 5'8". And well, when I say small, I don't necessarily mean height. I mean size-wise, like width. I only weigh like, I think 130 now, but back in high school, I was like 110. I was really small.
I'm 193.
You ain't got no problems. But yeah, I think it was my way of like, it's a defense mechanism. It's how I dealt with it. Like, I would be over the top to make sure people didn't fuck with me in the first place because I overthought about it too much.
I kind of, I stretch a lot too, so people just, I kind of like, yep, here's the ammo. You don't want to mess with it. Don't make me load the cannons.
Well, and I've said this before, but it is true in my experience. I have fought a lot in like back in the day because that's all I ever fucking did. I was a piece of shit. I wear
glasses.
Looking to start trouble and shit. But like, the people that are the most dangerous in my experience aren't the huge tall people, and they're not the short people. They're the stocky, the short and like Wolverine, like huge. You know, I don't know why. It's their center of gravity or something. You can't stop
they have a lower center of. I worked with this kid. He was built perfect. I mean, he looked like an anatomical dwarf from like fiction, like a Warhammer dwarf, not like like these fucked up looking dwarfs that humans have.
Yeah.
Like, he was built so stocky. He was broad and just like 5 foot tall. Man, I bet he could just wreck anybody.
Yep. And they're like, I've never won a fight against them. I've got a pretty good track record against like overall. But when it comes to the stocky, short, like built people, I've never, ever won one. And it's not even ever been close. It's like they always beat the shit out of me.
They're just solid.
Mm-hmm. It's also hard to fucking work with them. I don't know. Like, it's just trajectory of fists and shit. And like
getting into them.
Yes. But they're like, they're like compact. And just like we already know that elbows and knees are the most dangerous strikes, it's for the same reason, because they're traveling less of a distance. And so
it's the quickest distance, like that 1 inch punch and stuff.
Yes. And so I think that's why. I don't know, but that's what I think is going on.
Yep, that's one person I always knew not to fuck with. Basically the dwarfs. If they look like an anatomical like fantasy dwarf, don't fuck with that person.
Yep. I had to learn. I had to learn the hard way. I have to learn the hard way on everything. I'm stubborn.
The thing is, with the big guys, like the ones that are really tall, just go for the knees. Like, if you take out their knees, most of them buckle. Or their ankles. They all have weak ankles and knees.
That's usually my go-to. Yeah, with the taller people, I have strategies for each like type. I guess
the little rascally ones, you just gotta get them. You gotta get them by like the throat or something and just fucking strangle the little fuckers out.
Yeah. Well, I don't have much experience on that because I'm small enough that I haven't dealt with many people that were that much smaller than me. So
those little fat fuckers would always fuck with me, and then they're quick, and it's like you just gotta get a hold of them because they don't want to get close to you because they know if you get a hold of them, they're fucked. And it's just this little dance that you do chasing each other.
That is true, and and if I'm dealing with someone kind of average-ish but not really really tall, that is exactly what I do because it's the smartest method. You don't ever want to let them get their hands on you because that's where you have a massive disadvantage.
I have amazing grip strength. Like I bet you can pry most things out of my hands. I'm just like, if I get a hold of something, I got it.
Not just that, but just you're larger in general, and you're going to have more strength, and you're going to be able to use your weight against. Even if you don't have that grip strength, you have so much advantage in so many different ways. It's just
like
stupid.
I have 60 pounds on you, easy.
Yeah, it would be stupid for me to let someone of your size grab me unless, I mean, if you can't help it, you can't help it. But yeah.
Yeah, once you get I know usually I put them in headlock, so I get them in a headlock, they're done.
Mm-hmm. What was that, Rash?
I said, I know where Gans gets his grip strength from. Come on.
Hey, that's why my left hand's so strong.
He's got plenty to grip.
I spent all my childhood learning Taekwondo, so when I got in real fights, I'm doing kicks while they're doing freaking all the normal fighting shit. And I've soon fucking found out that kicks don't help you much in a fight.
Well, they don't, but you can use them to your advantage because in most fights, people automatically think to put up your fists and fight like that. It leaves their entire midsection open, and any advantage you can have is useful. Like, they don't expect it. And most people, your average person's midsection is a one hell of a target.
I got one hell of a kick from doing Taekwondo. It's just that's your like initial attack kind of thing while you're away. The moment that the fight's actually engaged and you're in close, man, you got knees at best, which are still pretty brutal. Don't get me wrong, of course, but
if you get that first strike in, get them right behind the knee with a swift kick that brings them down, and then an elbow to the face. You're done. I mean, it's over. They're done.
There's a thing called a trench kick that I saw done once on this guy, and it's literally shifted his kneecap up his leg about 10 inches.
Ooh.
It was fucking brutal to watch, man.
So in most martial arts, I think most types of kicks and stuff are designed to be flashy and not necessarily useful in an actual fight. And you can tell this because in most of these martial arts, there's rules and there's all of these like they're rules that are arbitrary that like don't exist in the real world, and it kind of handicaps you. And that's why I like martial arts. Like, I hate Israel, but I've got to say they have, to me, the best martial art in the world.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga. It's the most serious. It's like it's designed to be kill strikes. It's not fucking around. It's not anything but like death. You know.
Krav Maga.
I take it seriously anyway. But I actually took like a couple of years, but I failed the end course because I couldn't pass the final deal. You have to get your ass kicked by like, I think it was 6-7 people, and I couldn't do it. It was too much. I was getting fucked up. You know how hard it is to fucking defend yourself against even 2-3 people? It's too fucking hard because they surround you.
Well, you have all your muscles tensed up. So after those first like 3-4 hits to the abdomen, one time you go to take like, let your guard down for a second, they nail you when your muscles aren't tensed. Oh, you're done.
I know, and it's not like Hollywood where fights last forever. In the real world, like one hit, you're fucked. Even if you fought your whole life, like it's
not the first one necessarily. It's the next and the next one because you're still bracing from that first one. You're like, oh motherfucker, and now you're just getting nailed one after another again.
But I don't know how anyone ever passed that. Like, how the fuck can you do that and like survive like a minute or something with 7 people trying to hit you simultaneously?
See, the pain always just pisses me off. To me, once I start getting hit, I just get mad.
I'm like that in a single fight, but like you still have bodily limitations that like if you're knocked out, you're knocked out. Like,
well, I guess the head. I've always been good at bracing for my head. My arms always go up around my head, so that was quick. But whenever I get like mad, every like muscle in my body just tenses up. That's why my friends always just call me Hulk because I just like puff up like a puffer fish.
I don't think I did that, but I used to black out when I fought, to where I couldn't remember what happened, and people would tell me like, "Dude, it was fucking crazy." Yeah, sometimes I got my ass kicked, and they're like, "Damn, dude, you got fucked up." No, I don't remember any of it.
Well, yeah. See, when I snap out of it, that's whenever I feel all the sprained fingers from running my hands in the shit or stubbing them and shit like that. Like
that's normal. That I think that's normal because you kind of go into high adrenaline mode and it blocks out any of your pain until later.
I feel zero pain. Like I broke my hand and felt nothing.
Yep.
I always hated having glasses, though. Glasses is always that thing because you don't want to break.
I could see that. I could see that being a massive disadvantage.
It's like $300 every time you break them.
And it seems like someone would that would be their go-to because it would take away like partially your vision.
Well, and that's where I'd always just go into the black rage, basically, and just spear them to the fucking ground and then get a hold of them and just...
Makes sense. We're winding down.
Yep, winding down. Sorry, go.
No, you're good. It's the lag. We got 4 minutes, but go ahead.
Okay, I fought a guy with glasses once, and it was I called him a spectacled bastard. And he wasn't mad, and nobody was mad for me basically calling him Four Eyes. This was in Britain, and back in the day, and in private boarding school, you would never call somebody a bastard because it means their parents aren't married. It's like the biggest, baddest thing you could say at that time and place.
Oh, like a bastard.
Like now, here in America, it's different. Like you call someone a bastard, it's like a typical insult. It don't mean that much.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that that's a different thing.
Yeah. I didn't win, by the way. I didn't lose either, but I didn't win.
It happens to the best of us. I think that most people, like, you can usually tell people online, especially, they're bullshitting when they're like, man, I fucked up this dude and then I fucked up this dude. Because it's just like any skill. When you first start, you have almost no experience. Normally. And you get your ass fucking kicked. And that's how you learn. That's how you get better. That's how you start actually winning fights. And still, I've never met anyone.
Then you train because you lost that fight. And you're like, I don't want that to happen again.
Yes.
You bulk up and you learn how to throw some punches and shit.
Yes. Well, for me, I didn't really bulk up and everything, but I did start to learn more and to like do some research and like.
I did sparring with my friends. I had them piss some blood from punching them in the kidneys.
We did that too. We used to wrestle and like fake wrestling shit, and we'd do like ECW stuff and do hardcore crap outside.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, we graduated to actually fighting, and
we just did no headshots. It all had to be in the body.
That's what we did as well. That's what we did, unless we were shadow boxing, which is well, not shadow boxing. We would slap box. And we were allowed to hit in the face with that, but it was like training hand movement, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it's getting that muscle memory, just how to dodge and block.
Yeah. I still hated it, though, because it's hard to, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but it's hard to be in the moment and know, hey, this is my friend and we're doing this to spar. When you get smacked in the face, you get fucking pissed, even if it takes you out of that moment, if that makes sense.
That's how about half of my fights would be. They'd start because some motherfucker would walk over, sucker punch me, and I'd be just like black rage and just fucking. I'd come to it. I'm like, I have him in a chokehold, and I'm like sitting there choking him usually or something.
I've done that at work before because I told people early on. Now I think that they thought from their perspective that I was trying to be a badass, but that's not the case. I would tell people, don't touch me. That's all I ask. Like. You can fuck with me all day, make fun of me, call me Ginger. I don't give a shit, but don't touch me. But always there's some people that have to push you, that they have to push you. And like one day at lunch, this Hispanic dude, he's like a really big, like a fat, not big as in tall, but fat. And like
husky.
he thought it would be funny. And he freaking put his hand on my shoulder and went, touch. And I fucking flipped. Like, I don't even remember much of it, but I fucking grabbed him by the throat and slammed him up against the table that's up against the glass windows where we had lunch. And I was like, if you ever fucking touch me again, I will murder you. And everybody freaked out. The boss had to call the big boss. Yes. And had to get him out there. And I got in trouble, but I stood by it. I said, look, I didn't fucking like, it's not like people didn't know. I wasn't trying to act like I was a badass. I'm trying to tell people I can't handle it. I can't, like, I don't see it as just fucking around or wrestling. I don't like being touched, like to a extreme
Don't violate
extent.
people's personal space. I mean,
Yes, that should be enough. Right. That should be enough. It should be common sense. But some people, you try to explain it and they want to fucking find out where the line is. And I don't like that because I don't always have fucking control. And I don't want to lose my fucking job, and I can't help it. I do not like being touched.
Unless it's in the butt.
Unless it's in the butt. That's true facts right there.
Yeah, it has to be on my terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
unless if it's surprise butt sex, even if it's surprise butt sex, I'll let it slide.
Yeah, of course you'll let it slide.
But yeah, anyway, it is time. I've got to start spending time with these kittens because if I don't socialize them in this 24-hour window, I can't give them medicine and then it fucks everything up. So I've got to make sure to get them accustomed to me.
All right, go be your kitty mommy.
I'm going to let them suck on my nipples.
Dude, they will. I've had so many times where I'm just laying with a shirt off or something like that. I have a kitten or a puppy and the damn thing tries to suck my nipple.
I'm not going to try that. That would freak me out, probably. It might turn me on. I'd feel weird. Like, you can't really control it. You can't really control it. Like if you get horny or something and then you're like, a fucking cat did that, I would feel like a fucking weird pervert.
It's just natural drugs.
Trying to make me feel better. You're like, it's all right. Just fap it out. Fap it out.
No, I'm just trying to convince you again.
I'm not doing that. But anyway, I will see you guys next week if you're available. It was fun. Take it easy.
Have a good one.